Here, take this.
Get the best-selling novels, The Deal, and Perfect Couple by Uncle White at 40 Ghana cedis each. Available at all Shell shops, selected bookshops, and total filling stations. For inquiries, call 050-554-6010 or WhatsApp 050-554-6030 for your copies.
Hello. Thank you for joining us again. It's another Friday, and this is Encore. I'm happy that you've been able to make the time to be with us. This is July. July is special for me for two reasons. First, I celebrate my birthday in July. And two, I celebrate my wedding anniversary also in July. This year, on 23rd of July, Florence and I will be celebrating 34 years of marriage. I was going to say blissful marriage, but I'm not too sure she would agree to that. So because of the significance of the month for me, I am going to do a little bit of introspection. So a lot of the presentation I'll be making in July will be, I'll be sharing points about marriage and relationships and love, but I will be applying it more to myself and from my own experience for this month. And I begin now with things I wish I knew before I married. Things I wish someone had told me 34 years ago, or better still, about 40 years ago before I got to the point of marrying. Well, you can join us. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Periscope. And you can also join us on WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number will be on your screen. Invite your friends to like the page, send a link to others. Let's have a whole community going so we can have a fantastic discussion as I share with you what I wish I knew before I married. And the important thing of that is that those are things that would also help you, if you are not already married, to know what to look out for. And if you're already married, I believe that this presentation will settle a lot of nerves and settle a lot of the conflicts that are going on in many, many homes. So we'll take a very short break. And then when we come back, I'll go into the presentation, what I wish I knew before I married.
Thought-provoking, motivational, inspirational, attitude, values, faith, soul-inspiring content, value for money. New Look, the magazine that reports on our values, attitudes, and faith for discerning people. Rover Report Monthly Magazine. Get your copies from all Shell shops, Total shops, and a supermarket near you. Or call 0302-231188 for subscription.
Hello once again, and thank you for staying on with us. And we're going to have a fantastic time. And I hope you even make it more wonderful with the questions and interactions that follow the presentations. So here now are the 10 things I wish I knew before I married. 1, the world of a woman is too complicated for a man to understand, but at least he should make the effort to be sensitive. If you invited me to accompany you for, let's say, an awards night, an awards ceremony, that's it. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Invite a woman to join you for an awards ceremony, and you create a minor crisis for her. Because now she has to think of, what am I going to do with my hair? What am I going to wear? What shoe will go with this? And all that. And she will rope in every friend of hers in this little crisis to try and help her solve the crisis. Because her world this is one of the things that a lot of men don't quite understand, and it creates a lot of tension at home. We get up and we are ready to go. The woman is not quite that. The woman is not quite that. Then you get to the venue, and if she's wearing high heel, maybe you're running late, you want to walk fast because you want to make up for the time you've lost, and she is taking her time, and you are angry. You are angry because, look, we are late, hurry up. And she's saying, okay, you know what, you go, I'll come. She's not being snobbish. It's just that there's something called high heels. Walking in it is not easy. They look nice in it, but walking in it is not easy. And there are certain flaws. A flaw in some of our event venues that are tricky. And if she doesn't walk well with a high heel, she'll find herself totally on the ground. So let's understand that a woman's world is too complicated for a man to understand. We think we do, but it's too complicated. But at least let's try and be sensitive. 2, a woman needs her network of friends. A woman needs her network of friends. I know that there are a lot of men, as soon as they marry a woman, then they try to say that, look, don't have any friends. I don't want any friends in this house. I don't want you to be hobnobbing with anyone. When you do that, you are doing a great disservice to yourself and to your wife. A woman needs her network of friends. Let me tell you a story. A woman drives all the way from Adenta to Cantamanto with her husband. They have a shop at Cantamanto. They get to Cantamanto, and the man says, I'm not feeling too good, so let me go to the clinic, and I'll be back. And there's a clinic, that was their private clinic they go to, they frequent. So he hands over the keys to the shop to the wife and drives off. About an hour later, the woman hadn't heard anything from the man, so he calls the line, and a lady picks it. And the lady introduces herself as a nurse at Kolebu. And asked the woman, who is this speaking? And said, I am the wife of the man whose number it is. And the woman said, then please, there's an emergency. Rush to Kolebu now. The woman rushes to Kolebu, only to find that her husband had dropped dead. He died at the private hospital, and they had rushed him to Kolebu. And he was obviously dead before he arrived. Can you imagine what a trauma it is? You just drove with your man to town from Adenta to Cantamanto. Well, she had, in her confusion, one thing came to her mind. Call Mrs. White. That's my wife. So she calls Mrs. White because Mrs. White happens to be her president inaugural. So she calls my wife, and my wife picks the call. She tells her what had happened, the disaster that had just happened. And my wife, Florence, says, look, stay where you are. Don't go anywhere. Don't move anywhere. Stay where you are. My wife hangs up and makes 3 calls. Within 15 minutes, this new widow was surrounded by 5 women. By 5 women. And from that point on, she was never alone. Indeed, 3 months after they had even buried the man, there was always a woman with her and her children at home. That's what I mean, that a woman needs a network. Think about it. One day you'll not be there. Don't let your wife bury herself too much into you. Otherwise, the day you are not there, she and your children will be totally destroyed. You've got to give her the opportunity to stretch herself and to make her friends and to build her network. A woman needs her network of friends. 3, marriage does not end sexual temptation. Oh, I wish it did. It doesn't. I've been married for 34 years, and even today, driving here, I saw something. I saw someone, you know. So marriage hasn't killed the edge. It hasn't killed the how do you call it? If you watch Damage Goods, we said the animal, you know. So, no. In my case, if the girl is intelligent, has has good brains and good legs, that's when the angels have to do overtime to keep me on the straight and narrow. But the point I'm making is that marriage does not end your sexual temptations or your struggle against sexual temptation. So the thing is to find a way of overcoming your sexual desires before you marry. Otherwise, marriage will make it worse for you. I like to tell this story. Before I started driving, I only looked at cars, and I saw a car, oh, that's a nice car, and that's it. There was no desire, there was no curiosity about how would it feel to drive it. Then I started driving, and I moved from nice car to I wonder how the steering would feel like in my hands. I wonder how the gears would feel like to change. That's what marriage does. After marriage, you see a woman and you've got to control your mind. Otherwise, your mind is going to go to all kinds of places. So let's understand it. Now, when it comes to sexual temptation for a married man, there's something that I think would help all of us. It is this. None of us can stop birds from flying over our heads, but we definitely can stop the birds from building a nest on our head. Do you understand? We can't stop the birds from flying over our heads, but we definitely can stop the birds from building a nest on our head. You may not be able to stop the temptation, but you can at least stop, make the effort so it doesn't overcome you. So those of you who think that once I get married, all this desire, all this waking up, lying in bed throughout the night and wishing something was happening, oh, get ready. There'll be more of those times. 4, when you marry, your wife becomes your first field of ministry. And once I use ministry, I'm sure you know where I'm coming from. I'm a Krife man. And we use ministry to mean anything that you do that honors God and pleases Him and expands His kingdom. Now, let me give you a scenario to show you what I mean. Because sometimes, especially for Christian men, once we marry, we neglect her for ministry. We throw ourselves so much into church activities and all kinds of activities that the woman feels like an unnecessary appendage. I remember one of my friends whose wife told him that, look, can you treat me as one of the church members? Then at least I can be sure that I'll get a bit of your attention. But I learned this saying in a very graphic way. There was a point in my time, in my life, when we married. I think this was about within the first 5 years of our marriage. I was doing the kind of job that took me around Ghana on a monthly basis. I did about 5 cities on a monthly basis. And on this occasion, I had gone to Kumasi and spent a week in Kumasi. I was also the artistic director for J Theatre. And J Theatre met on Sundays. So I knew I had to come back to Accra on Sunday. Our rehearsals began at 1. I had to make sure I'm here because I didn't want to be late. So I drove like Jehu from Kumasi to Accra. I got in and I had just about 20 minutes to spare. So I dashed home, intending to just drop my bag and dash back to rehearsals. And we lived at Accra Newtown, and rehearsals was at Jamestown at the Bible House. So I get home, and of course, as soon as my wife hears the car entering the garage, she's excited because I've been gone for 1 week. So she comes to welcome me, and I said, you know what? I don't have time. I'm running late. I have to go. I said, oh, but eat something. I'm sure you haven't eaten. I said, no time to eat. I have to go. There's work to do. And she did something she had never done before, and she has not done since. Florence stood in the doorway and blocked it with her body and said, you will not go. You will not leave this room. And you know what is called righteous indignation? This is when you think that you are on the side of God and somebody is standing in your way. And that is how I felt. Look, this woman, she wants to come between me and my commitment to God. So I lifted her from the doorway off her feet like that and threw her away. And then went off. got into the car and took off. And I was still fuming. This woman, what does she mean? She knew I was doing this before we married. Why is she? Anyway, I hadn't gone 100 meters. And before you get a wrong impression, I don't hear God's voice every day. I hear it once in a long while. But this is one of the occasions when I distinctly heard the voice of God. He asked, "Where's your wife?" And I went, "Lord, you won't believe what that woman is trying to do. She is trying to stop me from serving you, and I am not going to allow that." And the Spirit of God said, "Go back to your wife." I said, No, not now. When I finish, I'll go back. Not now. Now I'm running late for rehearsals and I have to go. Then the Spirit of God said, "For whose sake are you going to do that rehearsal?" And I said, "Well, for you." He said, "Then I am saying, go back to your wife." I said, "But what about the rehearsals? What about the rehearsals?" And the Spirit of God shut down. He didn't answer. Anyway, I knew this had to be God. So I did a U-turn. I went back home, entered our flat, and Florence was a picture of misery. She had wept as if her heart was broken. Her eyes were puffy and red. So I went and sat by her, apologized for being physical with her and things like that, and stayed with her till she regained composure. And then one thing led to the other, one thing led to the other, and the monkeys in the room are making noise. One thing led to the other, and makeup sex never fails. Makeup sex never fails, and so. So we made love. Then after that, I said, "Would you eat?" I said, "Yes." So she served me, and I said, "Well, let's eat together." So we're eating, and she was asking me about the trip, and I gave her as full a report as possible. I didn't say fine, no, full report, because then after a while she said, "Are you not going for rehearsals?" I said, "But you didn't want me to go." She said, No, no, I would never stop you from going for rehearsals. What I didn't like was the shabby way you were treating me. You've been gone for 1 week. You come in and you just treating me as if I don't exist. That was what I opposed. That's what I did not like. But you can go. I'm fine. I'll be fine. I'll prepare something special for you by the time you come back. And I said, "You know something? What about this? Why don't we go together?" So we got up and took a bath together because of what we had done, and then dashed off to rehearsals. I got to the rehearsals grounds, and I was almost 2 hours late. 2 hours late. But this is what happened. As soon as the members of J Theatre saw Florence, the whole room exploded. Because you see, she had been the mentor to most of them, and they hadn't seen her in a long time. And they were so excited to see her. They were filling her in on things in their lives and things like that. Anyway, long and short, it was one of the most exciting meetings we've ever had. Even now, I still meet people who reference that meeting. And we tell you, "Do you remember the day you came with Florence to our meeting?" Well, that day changed my life. So, when you marry, please remember this. You can't say you are pleasing God when you are not cherishing your wife. You can't. You must cherish your wife if it is indeed God that you want to please. Now, 5. Women can be very reasonable until they feel their reasonableness is being used against them. Let me give you a scenario. Let's say you get home and you are tired. Your wife wants to talk and say, you know something, I have a headache. I want to go and lie down. I want to take a nap. Okay, she's being reasonable. She says, okay, then you can go in. I'll make sure nobody disturbs you. Then about 15 minutes later, she decides to come and check on you to see how you're doing, whether you need medication or something. And then she comes, and here you are chatting happily on the phone. Immediately, your wife realizes that you've treated her like a fool. You've used her reasonableness against her. And trust me, she'll be so unreasonable after that. And we need to understand that. Women can be reasonable. They are most reasonable. But as soon as they feel that because they were reasonable, you have taken undue advantage of it, they switch. They go to the other extreme. And then you will not like the kind of woman she becomes. So let's watch this. 6. Women are so intelligent that they must make sense of everything. Women are so intelligent that they must make sense of everything. Again, let me give you a scenario. Let's say I run a company. Now, every morning I arrive and I go around the offices saying hi to everybody. Then one day I arrive in the office, and for whatever reason, I don't do that. I go straight into my office. The men in the company will be cool with that. You know, they will just go, oh, he's come. That's it. He didn't come to say hello, but it's fine. The women, no. They will spend the rest of the day trying to understand why didn't he come to say hello? Why? Is he angry with us? Has somebody reported us? Has something gone wrong? Their mind will continue grappling with this until they've come to a solution. They found an answer. Remember, I said until they found an answer, not the answer. Because the answer they may settle on may have nothing in common with reality. And yet they would act upon it. So, you're dealing with a woman, your best bet is to give as full information as possible. 1, be consistent. And whenever you break your consistency, please come forth and explain. Otherwise, you must understand your wife is beginning to find excuses for it. All right, when he leaves, as soon as he gets to the office, he calls me. Well, today, he hasn't called me. Then she decides, okay, let me call and find out what is happening. She calls and your line is engaged. Oh, my goodness. She knows why your line is engaged. It means you are on the line with somebody else. Well, don't tell me it's not reasonable, but you've got to be consistent with a woman if you don't want wahala. And whenever, for any reason, you change, please come clean and give as much information as possible. 7, a woman is born for a crisis. A wife is born for a crisis. One of the difficulties in marriage is that unless you've had the crisis, you will never learn to appreciate your wife. You could easily see her as an expense item, somebody who is a bother until there's a crisis. And if you have a good wife, that is when you discover her strength. A woman is born for a crisis. And whenever there's a crisis, you can count on your wife. But to be able to count on her, it means that you yourself should have treated her in the good days. If you don't treat her well when the times are good, when there's a crisis, she may not be too willing to come to your aid. 8, your wife's friends can be your greatest allies in your marriage. I know a lot of men may not enjoy hearing this, but listen. Your wife discusses you with her friends, with her close friends. Everything about you. Yes, including your sexual habits. Everything. Now, and whenever she decides to attack you, she calls her friends and she tells them, Kojo did this, and today when he comes, this is what I'm going to do to him. Now, if you've been nice and decent with her friends, that is when they come through for you. That's when, oh, don't bother Kojo. You cry, you trouble Kojo cry too much. Don't do that, don't do that. And because her friends are on her case, she will back off. So use her friends. Allow her to have her friends, and then open the home. Let them come. You don't need to sit down with them. You don't need to chat with them. Just let them know you are cool with the fact that they are around. That is enough. And then you'll realize that they will fight your battles for you. Let's do 9. 9. Marriage takes more than love. Marriage takes more than love. You know, in the past, marriages in Ghana were arranged. The couples never saw themselves till after the arrangement had been completed. Then we decided that, no, you know something, we won't let the family make choices for us. We'll make our own choices. Well, in the past, when families arranged marriages, some of them worked, some of them did not work. Now we are arranging, organizing, making our own choices. Some of them are working, but some of them are terrible. Well, the reason is this. Marriage takes more than love. You've got to have patience. You've got to have humility. You've got to be sensitive. You've got to be generous. You've got to learn to have emotional maturity and emotional intelligence. Otherwise, you are in trouble. And then 10, all women are the same. Ladies, please don't react till I've explained. Let me make my case. Let me make my case. I don't mean it in any derogatory term. But all women are the same. You know, this is what happens. You marry a woman, and after a while, because of the troubles you are having, another woman becomes so attractive to you because she looks so nice. She looks so reasonable. You go and tell her about what your wife is doing to you and say, oh, why is Ajua doing that to you? Oh, as for my sister, oh. And suddenly you feel that, you know what? I think I would have been better off with this one. Don't be fooled. In the same circumstances, in the same situation, she would do the same. Women are the same. So what you found, the one you found, cherish her. Make her feel that she has your full attention. Make her feel that you cherish her. And that will be all you need. That will be all you need. Otherwise, you'll be looking all over. You know, today somebody is nice to you, your secretary comes smelling nice, and you are suddenly in love with her. Look, buy your wife perfume some, so that she can also smell nice. You know, your secretary, your colleague in the office has always done her hair, and you say, oh, I like the way she, well, you to give money for your wife to go and do her hair. And you realize that, listen, many of us who are not appreciating our wives, if we were not married to our wives and we had met them at a social function, we would chase them. Think about that. Well, those are 10 things that I wished I knew before I married 34 years ago. To all of you who have joined us, I am so grateful for your time and for the investment in data. I know it is not cheap, and I'm grateful. Now, we'll take a little break, and then I'll take your questions. You can send it to our WhatsApp number. The number is on your screen. So let's now have a chat. So, see you.
Honey, I have laid the bed. Baby, honey, tomorrow I have a meeting. I have a business meeting tomorrow.
Sir? Oh, sweetheart. Here, take this.
Get the best-selling novels, The Deal, and Perfect Couple by Uncle White at 40 Ghana cedis each. Available at all Shell shops, selected bookshops, and total filling stations. For inquiries, call 050-554-6010 or WhatsApp 050-554-6030 for your copies.
Don't blame you at all. I blame stupid enough to believe your lies that you love me.
No, wait, hold on. You are going too far. Now tell me, is this still about me coming in late? Coming in late just once when you don't know what held me up?
Fifi, when I asked you what held you up, what did you say? Didn't you just shut me up because, as for me, I'm a boy? So take whatever you throw at me. Is that not what you did?
Now, you were such a spoilt girl.
Me spoiled? Fifi, you are accusing my mother of being a terrible mother. Wait. Ma! My mother thanks you.
But I haven't mentioned your mother.
You have. When you said I am a spoiled girl, what do you think you are saying? It means my mother did a terrible and lousy job raising me. You are saying my mother is a bad mother, eh? Hey, but let me tell you who is a bad and terrible mother. It's your mother.
Hey.
Eh? It's your mother. She did not raise you well at all. Otherwise, you would have had sense enough to know that when you start a lady up, you apologize.
Apology. Now apology.
Yeah.
I'm amazed you even know the word apology.
It's in
Hold
my
on.
dictionary.
Now all those years that you keep me waiting outside for hours, do you have the same sense you're talking about to apologize to me?
Oh, go ahead. Fifi, insult me and tell me I have no sense.
You know what? I won't take any more of this. I will not take any more of this.
Are you walking out of
Yes.
me? Okay, go. And make sure you don't even come back here again. You selfish, cheating, lying bastard. Woo! Go now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now. Because you're not welcome anymore. But you the one who tried to break me with goodbye. You think I'll crumble. You think I'll lay down and die. Oh, no, not I. I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love and I know I'm still alive. I've got all my life to live. I've got all my life to give and I will survive. I will survive. Hey, hey.
Well, thank you very much for staying with us. I've just completed 10 things I wish I knew before I married 34 years ago. I hope it's been useful to you. But now, I'm ready to take your questions. Once again, I thank you for the investment in time and data to stay with us. I hope that you would pass a link on, invite other people to join us, so that we can all build our homes, better homes and things like that. That's the purpose of this. I am committed to helping you become your better self. Well, this is Uncle Ebo White, and I'm on standby for your questions.
All right, Uncle. First question from WhatsApp. Uncle, you are doing a great job. It's sad most men or women are married to their works. Thanks for educating the upcoming generation.
Thank you.
Uncle, I met this fine lady online. She wants me to visit her first before she will know how serious I am. The problem is that because we live in 2 different countries, it will take me a visa to visit her, but she wouldn't need a visa to visit me. I advise it will be easier for her to come over to my country for her to really know who she is dealing with, but she still insists even though she likes me very much, which she can confirm then to be in love. But she sees it's right for the man to visit first. What do I do?
My brother, make the effort. Go get a visa and go and visit her. That makes a powerful statement that you are serious about this. So please go get a visa. Go get a visa. And I think she's right. I hope she sticks to her guns and never come until you have gone to see her.
All right, Uncle. How can you make a man with a very stressful job relax fully when he gets home? This man doesn't ask for much. He's very low maintenance.
Well, all men are low maintenance. All men, apart from a few, those who are not low maintenance, I always say that we need to take off their trousers and inspect to see whether they are truly men. But almost every man is low maintenance. Well, what do you do? First, let somebody he trusts tell him something that he will not forget. And it is this. He thinks he's indispensable in his company. If he drops dead today, before we find a place for him in the mortuary, somebody will be sitting at his desk. He should have a balance in his life. Now, with men, normally, when we get home, we need a me time So create that time for him. So he gets home. Don't go all at him and how did he go? And no, allow him a little bit of space. When he's recouped, we call it. He goes into his cave, but he'll come out of the cave, and then you would have him back with you. But I can see you're a very reasonable one, and I think your husband is fortunate to have you. So stay blessed.
Uncle, in a situation where your friends wish to have him, do you think it's wise enough to be friends with them and vice versa?
Your friends wish to have your husband. And now you are wondering whether, well, if you married a good man, you can be sure not just your friends, so every other woman wants him. What you should do is to kill the competition. Kill the competition by being the best that he can ever get, so that there will be no contest at all. So don't worry about your friends. You make that man happy. Make that man know there can't be any better person anywhere for him.
Hello, Uncle. My husband totally changed towards me after having a new female colleague at work. I used to trust him, but not anymore after getting to know about them. Please help.
That's, geography and chemistry go together. When a man and a woman work in very close proximity, depending on what they are going through, a lot of things can happen. What I'll say, and it may sound counterintuitive, pretend that woman does not exist. Don't make her a factor. Don't question him about the woman. Make that woman irrelevant in your home. Don't let there be a discussion about that woman in your home, because when you do that, you brought the woman to your home. No matter how much your husband seems to like this woman, there's no way he's going to bring her into the home. So don't give her space in the home. And in the home, let him always come home to a warm welcome. And you don't have to worry your head about this, other. Oh, by the way, take another look at your grooming too. Career women always dress well. You too, make a little bit of investment so that when he looks at you, he would begin to have some ideas. All right?
Most men don't like you speaking to either your pastor or other friends about relationship. What do you think?
The men who don't like you and forbid you from telling anybody about what is going on in the relationship, they've already judged themselves. They know they are not trying. They know they are not doing well. They know if anybody gets to know what is going on, they will rebuke them. So they come up with this saying, I don't want anyone to know what is going on. The day you tell anybody about what is happening, that's the end of the relationship. Shame on you. You are bullying the girl. Stop doing that. And be the man that you need to be. And up your game, okay?
Hello, Uncle. Good afternoon. So, Uncle, since all women are the same in that sense, then quitting an old relationship for another because of some disturbing behavior of your current girlfriend is not such a good idea. Is a lady who sent it.
No, it is not. It is not, because the things you are running away from, you run into possibly worse. Let me tell you something. Let me advance this further. Life is a school. And in the school of life, the lessons you need to learn, you learn through your interactions with people. Somebody will come your way, and by his misbehaving towards you and the difficulty he gives you, actually he's helping you learn that lesson. Now, when you run away from one lecturer or one person who is being used to help you learn that lesson, and you go away, you haven't escaped the lesson. You would go there and meet the lesson in another form, in another form, in another form. My perspective in life and in relationships was changed when at a certain point in my life, I had very older people as my friends. And most of them had been married 3 times. And I remember one of them meeting his first wife. I had taken him for a medical checkup at Kolebu, and when we were leaving, the woman was also entering Kolebu, and they stood there, and for 30 minutes, they were blaming each other for the mess of their lives. You know, you didn't have patience for me. You see, you left me, and I went on to marry some other women, and you see that I said, but you too, you didn't have any patience. No, women are the same. Sometimes when you are not relating to them, you may think they are reasonable, but you wait. When she gets a seat, you will see. You know, it's like sometimes politicians. The politician who comes to campaign is very different from the politician who gets sworn in into parliament. So let's be careful.
From Bless Me, please, uncle, is it bad if you don't have friends as a married woman?
No, it is not. Maybe that is your life, but you will really need a circle of friends, because you see, there will be a time when you need others to fall on. For instance, if there's a bereavement, or if your husband, touch wood, dies, and in most cases, the man is likely to go before you. You will need people around you. So if you're down to so kind, begin to build a network. Be nice to people. If you're in church, build a network from there. It's a good place to build a network, so that when you are in a crisis, a phone call would open doors for you and will send people coming in to support you.
Uncle, what do you do when your spouse cannot kiss you after 10 years of marriage?
The romance is gone, has it? The romance is gone. Well, kiss him. If he will not kiss you, you kiss him. It may help. If he's a kind of way person, wait when he's taking his bath. Enter the bathroom and plant a kiss on this thing. And then tell him that there is more where this one came from, and leave. And he may come back out of this and say, now the thing you did, what did you mean by that? But yes, 10 years is too short for the romance to go. So the two of you have a chat. I think both of you are possibly taking this relationship for granted. Especially, I suspect, have there been children? I suspect there have been children in your marriage. This is it. Children, you know, we all go marry and we want children. We are so excited to have children. But listen, children spell erotic disaster in a relationship. As soon as children come in, passion becomes a huge struggle to manage, and erotism goes away. So have a chat. 10 years is too young.
From Winfred, uncle, is it healthy for a relationship where the lady sets people around you to feed her anything you do and people you see?
My brother, what do you have to fear? If you have nothing to fear, it doesn't matter how many people are watching you. You have nothing to fear. Unless you have things to fear and things to hide. But otherwise, let her recruit the whole of Ghana after you. It won't make any difference. So, hey, live a straight life, and you wouldn't have to worry about who. It's like, you know, for all the men here, one of the things women love to do is to search the pockets of their husbands. They will swear they don't do it, but they do. They will search your pocket. Now, if you have nothing to hide, why are you upset that your wife is searching your pocket? Let her search. Or she will take your phone and scroll. Unless you work with national security, I don't see why your wife picking your phone. And some men can actually warn their wives. I've told you, don't touch my phone. Shame on you. What is on your phone? So, don't be afraid.
Hello, uncle. I live in London. I met a young guy on Facebook and we've been dating for 6 months now. He's in Ghana, but I don't care. We had a little misunderstanding and he has blocked me. Doesn't pick my calls nor return them. I'm thinking of coming to Ghana, but I'm scared. What should I do?
Is this person a Ghanaian?
She didn't tell.
Because
but she lives in London.
Yes, she lives in London. It doesn't mean she's a British. Maybe she's a Ghanaian, like some of the people here. No, because the reason why I'm asking is this. Unless you have people here who can support you when you do come, you'll be making a big mistake coming. It may be a wasted trip. So I would say that, and especially since you've been dating online, I would say, look, lie low, and let's see what he does. Let's see what he does. And if he's not interested, move on. But you could come and he can refuse to see you. You could come and find that he has some other people here. But if you are a Ghanaian and you have a network here, tap into that network. Let them go and see him and talk with him and find out what is happening. And you may get some leeway. But making that trip just so you could get him to change his mind, it doesn't sound like a very useful thing for you to do.
From Toby. Is it good to keep a relationship when there's lack of trust?
Trust is the currency of a relationship. So if trust has been damaged and the relationship means anything to you, your first line of business is to restore it. Begin to put in place confidence-building measures, because trust can be restored. So get busy restoring the trust.
Okay, well, thank you so much for the live messages. It really encourages me. God bless you.
Thank you.
I'm almost 7 years in marriage, and sometimes I think my husband doesn't love me. He once told me I should also wear a suit and fix myself and get an office job.
Are you a housewife? If you're still online, let me know if you are still a housewife, because the answers may be slightly different. The point is, if you depend on your husband completely and solely for everything, it gets to a time when he begins to disrespect you. And that's why, unless the children come in, unless for medical reasons, I would not advise any woman to opt to be a housewife or to opt to stay home. You should always find, it's better when you find something else to do that can help you earn money of your own. Then you don't go to him for money for sugar, and things like that. Sooner or later, he will treat you like trash. So if you are not a housewife, then just find a way of becoming a little bit more independent. If you're a housewife, as soon as the children are old enough, get back into the job market. Or, depending on where you live, if you can start a little business in the house, go ahead and do it.
Uncle, please, how do I handle my wife who does everything together with a male colleague at the office, but never bothers to find out about me, and when I call her during the day, she doesn't pick up in the name of being busy at work? She only calls me when she has closed from work and I need to pick her home. Uncle, this is really bothering me, but she finds nothing wrong with it.
This is not acceptable, my brother. This is not acceptable, and I think you should have a chat with your wife, or bring in somebody your wife respects, to help the two of you deal with this. Something is going on, and it doesn't sound nice. Your wife should stop doing this, because the other man, and you see, I think she finds the other man maybe more interesting than you. But remember, that man, if he's giving your wife, if he's giving you that much time, it means that with any other woman in his life is suffering. So he's not the ideal man, really.
Uncle, my wife is the type who is always looking for something to argue about. She finds problems even with the people I talk to. She can even anticipate or guess that you are discussing her. Please help.
That's a cry for attention. Your wife needs a little bit more attention, and I hope that you'll find the grace to give her a little bit more attention. And affirmation to let her know she still means something to you. She's still the most important person to you, and she will relax. As soon as women get a certain sense of security, they cool down. So look into the way you relate to her and find out. Answer this question: are there ways in which you're making her feel insecure? If so, find a way of dealing with it.
Uncle, the lady who asked the question about her spouse cannot kiss her after 10 years.
Yes.
She says he has not kissed her in all the 10 years that they've been married.
So it also means that he never kissed you before you married.
Yes, my question is that he doesn't like it at all in all the 10 years we've been married.
Wow. Well, but does he like other things? Look for some other things. I mean, maybe he doesn't like this, but he wants. Oh, my brother, you too. You too. Does he have any dental issues? Well, speak with him. Let him know this is important to you. You wish he could kiss you once, or at a certain time, kiss him.
From Betty. Uncle, is it wise to continue in a relationship when the man who claims to trust you goes through your WhatsApp chats and starts to complain about your chats with other male friends, even though you have nothing to do with them?
Then what is there for him to complain about? Are you sure there aren't there are things that we do and say, oh, there's no harm to it. There's no harm to it. Let's simplify our lives. Again, like I said earlier, if you have nothing to hide, why are you upset? If there's something that is questionable and he's raised it, please listen to him. It could create serious problems for you later.
From Anita. Uncle, how do I keep my husband and at the same time my kids? I don't want to lose the love of both.
Wow. I think that if you can find ways of involving him in the raising of the children, that then becomes a common thing the two of you are doing. If the two of you could have regular discussions about the future of the children, I think that will help. Unfortunately, sometimes what women do is to say, these are my children, and then he backs off. But let him help you. Every now and then, find a way of involving him. Can you bath Junior for me today, or can you put on Junior's dress for me today? Can you go and drop the children today at school? Something. Find a way of involving him, and I think it will help.
Uncle, I heard my husband talking to a girlfriend, and the girl was flirting with him. I asked him about him, and he said it's normal and I shouldn't worry. I was upset, and he called the lady on the phone that she should explain to me what she was telling me on the phone. My husband thinks I don't trust him, and the girl will tell everyone about it, and the issue will make people feel that we are not cool. My husband is a good man, but very accommodating. What do I do?
I think, again, to all the women out there, don't bring the other woman into your home. Don't. Let it not even become something we talk about in our home. As soon as he comes home, it's about the two of you. Then when you talk about, so when was the last time you spoke with Abiziga? You've invited Abiziga into your home. She becomes a topic. You can even fight over her. Let her stay away and don't invite other women into your home, in the sense of making a case about your husband's relationship with them. I think that will help.
Uncle, please. After my husband's cheating affair has affected everything in me, when we have sex, I kept seeing him with another woman, and sex is no more fun.
Yeah.
So we just stop. I try all I can, yet it's the same. He even asked me to tell him what to do to get me back. Please help.
Well, listen. An affair marks the end of a relationship. So when your husband cheats, your first marriage is over. But just as you can go on to marry another person, you can also go on to remarry your husband. Do you understand me? So take it this way. My first marriage just died because of the affair. But my husband and I are going to make a second effort at making this thing work. So that you try to let the affair stay in the past as much as possible. If he's giving you confidence building measures, I think give yourself time and try, make the effort to get over it. It may not be easy, but you really don't have a choice but to do it eventually. It may not be immediately, but continue to pray that you are able to do it so that you can give yourself to him. But I can totally understand that anytime he's with you, you are thinking, so he was doing this with somebody else. That is normal, but let's move on and let's get better.
From Ohima. Uncle, why do men date and marry different ladies at the end of the day?
Ohima. Ohima has it on a very... It's a question. Ohima, it's one of the things I don't understand. You know, because somebody is relating to another girl and you could see the chemistry. You could see these two are meant for each other. Then later on you hear he is married and you discover not to that woman. And you wonder, so what happened? What really happened? Ohima, really, I don't know. I think that sometimes we allow pettiness, we allow pride to come in. We allow folly to come in. We allow our lack of exposure to come in. We think, oh, I can do without her. Who does she think he is? But yeah, he's somebody you love, and you may not be able to walk away as easily as that. But I have noted that it's a big issue. A lot of people are married to the people they don't love. The people they love, they are now calling that person, you know. They are now calling her every day and say, I'm miserable and things like that. And if somebody left you to marry another person he calls you, don't pick. You should stay there and suffer.
Uncle, if a lady does not contribute towards the preparation of marriage, does it mean that she will somehow be selfish when they marry?
I don't understand about the preparation, that you're having to carry the whole burden, the financial burden of marrying.
So if a lady does not contribute, to the preparation, does it mean she will be selfish?
Your case is a very interesting one, because women normally are the ones who are pushing for marriage, and sometimes they do everything to make it happen. Why? In your case, is it you who is pushing for marriage? Talk with her. She should show a bit of commitment to this. Doesn't mean anything to her. If it does, she should show some commitment.
Uncle, from Betty, is it appropriate to be washing your beloved's things when not married? I am asking this because it's a heated argument here.
You are not a wife. Don't do what wives do. He is not husband. He should not do what husbands do. You remember, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I said that when you are courting, that's not the time to be cooking for him and cleaning for him. But there's the other side of it. When you are not married, that is also not the time to take chop money from him. So it's the two ways. But if the two of you have gotten to this point where you need his chop money and things like that, and then if he asks you to come and clean, at least you have to earn your lunch. Don't you think so? And then, so go and wash. If you've been taking the chop money, then immediately begin to work towards the bringing forward the marriage. Marry quickly, because really, you are already there.
From Ebenezer, is it okay to still pursue a lady who says she is going out?
She's going out with another person. Ebenezer, you are brave. I admire your courage. Anyway, it's 1:30. This program is for 1 hour, and I realize that I can see from the excitement of the young men here that there are quite a lot of questions coming. So I don't know, what do you guys advise? 10 minutes more. We should do 10 minutes more. 15. So please, your indulgence. Let's extend this a little because the questions For once, you should see what is happening here. Every one of them has a question, and I'm sure they will not allow me to walk out of this room if I don't treat the question. So let's try.
Okay.
All right. Uncle, please, I am pregnant with my girlfriend, and she wants to move in and stay with me, even though she stays alone. Should I allow her, please?
I'm surprised you still call her girlfriend.
My
brother, she's no longer a girlfriend. Oh, let her come home. Let her come and hurry up and marry her.
From Hakim, Uncle, my wife and my kid's mom are not in good terms, and my wife's son dad will not even say hi. I'm taking care of his son 24/7. So what can I do?
Don't mind that foolish man. Do your job. Do your duty. I mean, somebody is looking after your child and you can't be nice to him. Just because you weren't treating a woman nice and he took it over and is treating the woman nice. Ignore him. Ignore him. It doesn't matter. And do what you're doing. I think you are a good man. Continue doing that.
From Phoebe. So when a man prevents you from speaking to or having friends claiming they are not in relationships, so they have nothing positive to say to you, how do you handle such a situation?
Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Why do you think that you should always have friends who are in relationships before you get anything? Sometimes the best advice comes from people whose relatives, whose friends have been through certain situations, and they share it with you and it helps you. So build your network.
Uncle, please, is it advisable to marry a foreigner?
I don't think that anybody can say don't marry a foreigner. Just that be aware that cultural differences can be a huge thing. Once you educate yourself about the culture and expectations of that culture, I think you are good to go. And sometimes, for a certain kind of Ghanaian, foreigners work better. You know, yeah. Oh, I know. No, there are Ghanaian. I know of Ghanaian ladies who say that Ghanaian men are not romantic, and they want to marry this one who would always touch you and things like that. We are practical people. If I touch you, I'm conveying a message.
Hello, Uncle. I'm in a long distance.
That was light, please. Don't pick me. I'm just having fun.
Hello, Uncle. Please, I'm in a long distance relationship for a year. The problem I have with my boyfriend is communication and ego. He hardly communicates with the excuse of work. Aside that, he's a good person. How do I make him see that communication is key? And how do I work on his ego? I have tried every way and I am tired of fighting.
If you know anybody in his family who is on your side, engage them, let them come in. Or if you know any of his friends or somebody who can talk to him, let them talk to him so that he would understand that he needs to get in touch. He should narrow the distance as much as possible, because long distance relationships are already trouble to begin with. So if he's not communicating, it's the ego thing that I don't quite get what you mean by he has ego, but we'll leave it there.
From Gibbs. Uncle, what's your take on African traditional polygamy that is still rampant in many African countries, including my country of Kenya?
I suspect this is a lady asking. Again, I think one day I would have to make a presentation on our cultural imperatives in the past and the effect they've had on our marriages and relationships, and why it is important to look at the change in times and be able to advise ourselves accordingly. There was a time when there weren't that many men, so we tried to let one man service as many people as possible. In some of the African cultures, a man was only needed to fertilize the woman. Beyond that, society, the woman, they did nothing with him. The man, that's why you could see in many traditional societies, the man is left to do whatever he wants. So he spends all the time at the drinking bar or playing draft, because the women really understood a few things. But that's something that I'd like to go into fully some other time.
From Marcia, what if the other person in the relationship is a man instead? Because some men have male friends who have more control over them, and this can be disturbing to the extent that even after you have taken decisions with him, this male friend can change his mind. Advise me, please.
Take your time. Don't fight them. The more you fight them openly, the more he will become more attached to them and attached to their decisions. He has his boys. Let them be there. But you two in your own way, see what you can do to win his confidence. And then if it is at all possible, from time to time, find a way of getting some of the boys on your side. And if any of them is on your side, you can be sure he will fight for you.
Uncle, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. My wife acts so selfishly and so very forgetful about me. She seems not to appreciate anything I do, and she sees everything as normal. Uncle, am I in the right place?
I suspect that you have children, do you? I suspect there are children in your marriage, and I think that is what is happening. That possibly because the burden of raising the children or taking care of the children has totally crowded you out. Women should understand that the mere fact that you're giving attention to the children doesn't mean the man's need for attention goes away. So let's try and do a balanced thing here.
From Amifua, what if the man is doing what is killing the marriage and expects the wife to be a normal wife when he is not being a normal husband? What should we do?
Counseling. Get people to come in to talk to him and to talk to the two of you, because it is also possible that his actions are driven by something that he is also not happy with, so that the two of you can resolve your issues.
Uncle, thanks for the wonderful message. I'm Francis. Is it advisable to allow your fiancé or wife to still be friends with her ex? My wife is not a Ghanaian, but she dated a Ghanaian guy before I met her. The guy is now in Ghana, and we are both also planning on coming to Ghana soon. I'm very jealous, even though I trust her very much. I don't feel comfortable when she chats or talks with him. What do you advise?
I think your wife should respect you and respect your emotions. And to all the ladies out there, there's a reason why the person is an ex. Leave him to be an ex. What is this thing of he's an ex and yet he's coming in and he's now a factor in your ongoing relationship? No, let's respect each other. And if your partner is not too comfortable with your ex, please don't rub it in and back off. There's a good reason why you call that person an ex.
From Benedicta. Please, is it good for your husband to tell you he loves his mother more than you?
Don't be angry. I can see how that would offend you. But take your time. I'm sure yours is a very young marriage. With time, as you prove yourself reliable and trustworthy, you would overtake the mother. But don't fight the mother. Don't fight his commitment to his mother. You love him, and he would come to it. All right. We asked for 10 minutes, and I think we've had the 10 minutes, and I am so grateful. I'm grateful. I know we've done havoc to your data, and please forgive me. But the questions were such that we needed to do this. So one more time, I have looked at 10 things I wish I knew before I married, and I've said that this month, July, I'll be doing a lot of introspection in my love relationships and my ups and downs. So you'll be hearing a lot of good stuff here. The joke would always be on me. That one you can be sure. So one more time, thank you very much for staying with us. May God bless and keep you and prosper your way. Until next week Friday, stay blessed. They call me Uncle White. I am the CEO of Roman Productions.